This is for today's session. First thing we talk about introduction for 4D planning, 4D planning workflow, 4D planning reports and workflow, how this report has been prepared inside the house, and how the 4D application is very beneficial for the construction and industry. So this is our 4 points to talk about today. Just take a moment to talk about myself. This is Omar Habib. I'm a senior 4D planning and Power BI expert. Currently, I'm working as a digital delivery manager with WiiPlan. My experience mainly between construction and oil and gas and projects, commercial, residential projects. I have worked in many BIM projects, more than 25 BIM projects in the Gulf area. My career path, like I started as planning engineer, site planning engineer. Then I go to BIM engineer. Then start to work as a 4D planning engineer. After my first period was a graduate 4D planning engineer, I started working as a 3D and 4D planning specialist with the Triple C. After this, I started to work as a head of digitalization or 4D and project control department in Matkur Group. Now I'm working as a 4B planning and digital delivery with WePlan. So now I would like to co- introduce how what will be the 4D and what should be the 4D. As the first thing, 4D planning is a combination between the 3D model and the time schedule. So now, as you see in the video running now, you have an information related to the time and the information related to the 3D in the same gallons. So now, whenever you have a 3D model is working in a specific area, you know the time, you know the cost, you know the methodology of applying this 4D model of this 3D item or 3D object in this specific place of the project. So now, what is the 4D? 4D is the combination between the 3D model and the time schedule that allow you to manage all the information which come from the site in one picture or on one 10-second video. So to go in deep inside the 4D itself, you need to understand what is the aspects of the 3D. So the first aspect is 3D X, Y, and Z. Is could I consider that X, Y, and Z only is the major thing in the 3D? No, it's not about X, Y, and Z. It's about MTO, the specs, type of revision, drawing, WBS, locations, access, all of the information inside the 3D model itself. So the BIM concept is construct a building virtually and to bring before it being inside it or installed in the site itself. So I need to get advanced point or advantage of having the 3D model ready for the site and bring this value for the planning aspect. So this is how the 4D planning used to work with. Now, as a scheduler, our planner, we have we working like we have 10,000 activities. We have a lot of projects. This is the typical planning usage of the scheduling. Now, you have the 3D model could bring this information to life. You have another level of the schedule. This is level two. If you have a tower, if you have a complex project, this will be the typical screen you will see every day. This is supporting the scheduler as a specific point, but we need to bring more and more advanced and more and more capabilities for the planning. So that's why we need the 4D planning to enhance the planning capabilities. In terms of the cost control information, you have this is a typical cost control report that you have a division, you have excavation, and you have foundation, retaining walls, you have the revised contract value and net value percentage. How could you manage all the cost aspects in one screen? That's the importance of the 4D planning itself. 4D planning is for the industry. It's not only about combining 3D with the time schedule. It's how to analyze, how to manage and control your site within one screen or one video. How to 4D planning provide for the stakeholder a process. This process allows them to analyze, control, thinking about what if scenarios and taking a decisions about the condition of the site itself. As you see now in this video, everything in the site has been modeled, everything has been linked to the time schedule. So now at this point, you know what kind of equipment you need, what is what how much the quantity you will pay, how much the cost you will pay at this time, how many people you need as a site, and all the aspects it's only in one screen. This is the importance and the value of the 4D planning, which will which will attract your clients, which will help you to control your project. So now we'd like to talk about the 4D BIM workflow. So now we know we have a good understanding of what is the 4D planning and what is the 4D planning value for the projects. So how these things could be working. So now, if you have from the beginning the 2D drawing and the specs and PQs, and you have the BIM library, now you could start doing your 3D model itself. After doing your 3D model, you have two ways for your 3D model. It will be modeled for QS to get the quantification, or model for engineering to get the shop drawing. So these two passes should be sent to the site. This after the modeling, the schedule should be linked. So you could bring a detailed 4D visualization for your project for the planning department, and the site will take the advantage of the 4D model itself, and they could visual the visual the all the thing, all the component of the project per zone and per even small rooms and per floor and whatever they need. This is the typical BIM workflow for the project. So now you have a time schedule with all the information he has, resource loading, you have the manpower, you have the quantity, everything you need. So this including the time schedule itself, and you have the cost report for the information related to the cost control, and you have the 3D model has been coded and it has been ready for the linkage. You could link the 3D model with any kind of software for the 4D planning, and sometimes you need the help of Dynamo Script to manipulate or to link the 3D model with the time schedule, and will be the result. One picture, one small video will represent like 10,000 document for your project. So we talk about the workflow in very top high level. So what about the detailed sequence? Now I have a time schedule like this. This is the first level of the time schedule. We had a big project with a big basement and two podiums. We have like 3,000, almost 3,500 activities in this project. How you could handle like it's not a big project now; it's mid-range project. How you could handle such a project within the 4D. So now you have the 3D model, uh, and you have the time schedule, and you need the activity code for every for activity ID for every activity should be transformed to the 3D model itself. So the idea is how could you manipulate it between the posts. So the idea is the major thing here is the naming convention itself. How could you standardize the naming convention for the BIM project and for the 3D for the time schedule? So you have a standard activity code. Everyone is working in his path, and you have whenever you reach the 40 point, you have an integrator to do this process for you. So this activity ID should be transferred into the 4D model itself. So how could you so? You have a standard naming convention, the planning department working on, and you have a standard naming convention for the BIM model, and post should be follow the same standard. After doing the same, it will be immediately the information for the activity ID should be inserted inside the with using any 4D planning tool like Sync Pro, like Pixel Manager, like Fuser, any kind of the 4D planning tools. The ID for every stage, formwork, steel flexing, pouring level, everything which should be inserted inside the 3D model itself. After this, after this point, now you are ready to do some analysis. You are ready to give some brief about the construction status for your project. As you see in the first thing, you have the project was the left hand side was the plan, right hand side here is the actual. You see the project is behind the schedule. uh, Although now you could take a corrective action to recover your delays, like in the 20 in the week number 20. Now you planned and there's actual now almost the same, because you have a corrective action. This corrective action, the 4D planning support you to understand what is the reason of delays, and the capabilities of what if scenarios support you so much of the analysis of the current situation, and for the 3 months look ahead situation, so you could provide a solution and see the solution in front of your eyes in the 4D planning mode. So this is the analysis for the project itself. So uh, what is the benefits of, now I understand what is the 4D, what is the workflow the 4D. After doing the 4D, I give you an example for one of the analysis. So what is the what of the, the major benefits from the 4D planning? 4D planning, it help you in five major things. For me, there's a lot of things you should search for, but this is the five top things I'm looking always about. The first thing from my experience is power of visualization. You transform a hell of information, like you have 3,000 document, you have a lot of things to work with. Now it's like one picture, one video, 10,000, 10 second, 20-second video, you will understand the situation of the project. If you have the powerful of visualization, that will lead you to second point, which is improved construction planning. Now you understand the problem, you see the problem because before it happens. Now the board support you in improve your planning and understanding your milestones. The better understanding of your milestones will support you to the third point, which improve the construction productivity. Now the 3 point is very tight. Whenever you understand, you see your project it has some delays, so you could take some actions. uh, this action will improve the construction planning. You could and the 4D planning itself could support you to see and understand the milestone in the future. This improves the productivity, and which and 4 point for me, efficient logistic management. One of the major thing in the construction industry is understanding of the major resource in the site, like the crane. What is the best location for the crane to get the most of the crane work in the site. The five thing is effective risk management, and the controlling for your actual progress. Now this is a kind of the benefit you will see. What about the reports? Now I understand the 4D planning. I got the idea of the workflow itself. I know the benefits of the 4D planning. What's the 4D planning could support me in the construction industry? What the kind of the reports should the 4D planning support me during my day-to-day workload, and my weekly workload, and my monthly workload? So now this is a standard or the typical reports which every 4D planner they do every day. Like they do analysis 4D and they create 4D simulation, DCMA 40-point assessment, which is the analysis for the time schedule itself, site layout and temporary equipment simulation, 4D planning and this actual report, which review and understand the actual situation versus the planned situation. Sometimes we integrate the reality capture with the 4D, so we got the realistic actual versus the planned from the 4D mode. One other point was very important, which is 2 week look ahead, and you could monitor your critical activities, actual reports, and you could even export your information to be a PDF, live PDF. So now you could see the progress inside PDF, and you will treat this PDF like a 3D program like Revit. You could take a screenshots. You could measure even the length of everything. You could even hide things and focus on a specific element and things like you can open the 3D PDF as you open Revit or things like that, but in a PDF way. The last thing is exporting a small video which describes the whole thing inside the project itself. So this is the major thing, major or the main 4D planning reports for which typical which the 4D planning do this every week, every month, every quarter. So now the one of the examples for the 4D planning project. So this one of the biggest project which I made before. You had a big area of in terms of basement. You have now, you know, now the sequence. If I just pause my video now, you understand the building now. One is doing the first floor here, and the same for building two. Building three is start doing the columns only. Building four. Now one picture is summarized for like 150 document from the daily site progress. So this is the progress for a big building. It's connected in the basement, and for building in the above situations every second. Now you understand the construction methodology. You understand the progress itself. You understand the what the project will do. Now if I pause like 1 second here, you will see that the building number two is working in the fifth floor. Here working the fourth floor. Here we are working in as well as fourth floor, but we have a red color here. That means that we have a problem in this slab, or like we have a claim in progress. We do over any red color refer to we have something to we have a constraint on this object. The other color, the yellow color for just fixing the slab, the blue color for still fixing, the other color for the green color was for only for pouring. So this one minute summary 4D planning report. The other example will be from the different industry. Now you have from the construction industry, we have a layout for four buildings. These four buildings from before the pre-construction phase, which is preparing the site and mobilizations, and the equipment should be in the site before doing things right. If you have a crane, if you have the site logistics things, the safety banners, and everything related to the construction phase. Now your equipment just arrived site. Everything has been 100% modeled for the 4D model. Now the excavation will be start, should start. Yeah, this excavation work is still working. This is the appearance profile, the green color concrete pouring, the sky color for external finishing. The formwork will be in yellow color, orange color, and the internal finishing will be in red color. This what the activities happening here, and there is the work package. This is still working on foundation. Whenever he start working in concrete skeleton, you'll find the work package here. All the equipment which needed to perform a specific activity is present here in the 4D planning. Now, if I put my 4D model now, you know that the progress in every project, in every level, you know the equipment, you know the location, you know the status for a project in one glance. You don't need to read a 10,000 activity to understand the information from the planning team. Now they are working in the concrete work in the four building. And for the internal work, which is the red color, is for the masonry work. They finished most of the concrete work, so it's only the masonry work inside. The camera movement now will start whenever the external work for the elevation started. You will see the camera will move alongside to let you see the progress for all the aspects. If we have more than building and when have more than action for the other building, you could split the window like the previous look the previous one. So now this is the idea for this project. I will just make it more faster. Now even we have the landscape progress, and that's it for this example from residential project. The last example, it will be from high-rise building project. Now you could control with a different type of projects, different type of complex work with different level of complexity. Now you see a high-rise building with the structure works and masonry works from all views. This is the view number one. This is view number two. This is the view itself. This is the aspect which look on the your project. This is the other aspect, and here's the key plan for the project itself. Now you see now the structure work has been completed. The other work for the facade is started. Such a big project, you will find a lot of document, a lot of information to handle this project. This is a way of the 4D planning control the project. This is the solution which the 4D planning supports the construction industry in terms of the project management, project controls, and BIM. That's it for today's session. I hope it was very informative for you. If you have any question, you are feel free to ask.